some things I've been thinking about. Last week I did something about the rapture, and one or two people got back. I think it was, is the rapture biblical? And it's like, no. And I'm like, okay, but I put tons of scriptures there. Some of the scriptures I'm on the fence about, but mostly it tells us that there is a rapture, a hapax, or a snatching away. Anyway, the point what I wanted to make today was leading on from the one what I said the other day about the rapture. And people don't want to be found to be intellectually deficient by believing something like the rapture, and that's debunked by the fact that if you are a Christian, you already believe that a dead man came alive again. Okay, so which is more ludicrous in a rational way of thinking. So we can get out of that a little bit and say, well, the dead man came alive again. That's the very foundation of what I believe as a Christian. So therefore, everything that comes after that isn't really that scary, is it? Jesus was raptured away. He ascended into heaven. That's a doctrine of the Christian church. And he's on the right hand of the Father. He's alive in heaven today. And this is the first fruits of what we'll go through. But leading on from that, I wanted to just talk about something which is called condemnation without examination. And that's something that really a lot of Christians do. And they really just come to a conclusion for reasons not to do with the text, but other reasons outside of the text or outside of the doctrines of the church. And they just say, no, that's not something that I want to buy into. So basically rejecting some truth based upon things that really not to do with the text. It's something to do with something that lies outside of there. And I'd say to somebody, condemnation before examination. Examine the text, examine the things that people are saying, look for it yourself, be like a Berean and don't just listen to anything Gary Ward says or anyone else. You've got to examine it yourself and go down those rabbit holes and find out what's actually being said. A little bit about me. I don't do this from a position of strength. It's not like I'm saying, drop your nets, follow Jesus because I'm really good at it. It's actually because I'm not. I like what Bono put in his book, and they said, where are you with Jesus and Christianity? He says, I'm trying to follow Jesus, but I can't catch up. And I think that's an interesting way of putting it. But there are some definite lessons that I've learned on the low side of trying to follow than it is on the strengths of being so good at this. I think the minute then we say, oh, I'm a great follower of Jesus, I think we're in trouble. Who can match that perfection? Who can match that life? We can just walk the way we walk, don't we? And I thought it might be helpful to encourage some people with one or two things by doing this. That's cool. We have a church here in Yanchep Christian House Church. And we want to be able to build up and encourage the people who come here. I think that's what all churches are really for, building up and encouraging people and making sure that people are sourced in their Lord, okay? Making sure that they can anchor in and giving all the resources that we can give and pass on, so people are really confident that when it's kind of like you don't really get many cold grey Wednesday mornings here in Perth, Western Australia, but a lot of people around the world do experience that, and we do here and there. You can walk with a spring in your step, knowing that Jesus is real. He's really alongside you. He's the one who lives within you, and he wants you to walk well in him. And we're trying to resource people in that. 25 years ago, I was sat in an office in England, and some things had happened at the church that I was at, and I sat there and I was quite low, thinking to myself, where do we go from here? And I felt the Lord doesn't go, Gary, make a cup of tea or something, not like that. But the impression that I got, if God's ever spoke to me, it was then. And it was from 2 Kings chapter 2. And it's the passage where Elisha goes back into the promised land over the Jordan River. It ends with Jericho. And it turns out that the waters there were unproductive. And the way the passage goes, it was bring me a new bowl and put salt in it. So someone gets him a new bowl and puts salt in it, and he takes the salt and he sprinkles it into the waters that needed to be healed, and the waters were healed. And I felt the Lord say to me, that's something that I want you to be about. Just get the salt. In the Old Testament, the salt was always a ratification on a sacrifice, kind of to ratify it. They put salt on it. And And where the gospel's concerned, we are the salt of the earth. So pour into those waters that are dead and unhealthy and not really functioning the way water should function. And let's see what happens. And that was 25 years ago. So I've tried to keep that as a foundational principle of what I do in terms of passing on the gospel, the word of God. And, having said what I said at the beginning, like condemnation before examination is not a thing that I do. I thoroughly look at something and pass it on to you or others with hopefully not to just say that is what it says, but why it says it as well, and look at the whole counsel of God to be able to get the matter out there and present it and offer it really, and submit to the listener. This is the spirit. This is my posture. I'm submitting things, and hopefully there'll be conversation that comes from that, and we can get into a good dialogue, and hopefully we can all learn a bit more about a matter. So you can. I think I'm going to leave that there, and hopefully you enjoy your day. Stay close to Jesus, and let's see what he does in you and through you today.